Okay. How do you do? It's that time again. Since it's winding down, let's go to a dream-like state, shall we? Let's make it... No. We're going to dream. Ah. Since it's close to nighttime, the time when we all sleep and dream.
The reason why I'm doing...
It's close to nighttime, and we're all getting close to that dream-like state. So I decided to do a little trippy. Dream time. I'm the man in your dreams. All right. Glad we got a viewer. That's awesome. A lot of good things to announce. I want to wait till everyone comes in to announce all the good things that I'll be doing in the future. So we got 4 views. Very good. Dream trippy. Of course we are. Got a filter on. All right. Oh man, we got 2 thumbs up. We're going down in views. How you doing, store? How you doing? Well, I guess I might announce it now. Now I'm going to New York with Dave pretty soon. That's going to be pretty good. I'm also, I'm also planning another story, to write another story. And I call this one Bio Female. It's going to be a story based on a music video that I saw a long time ago, and I just reconnected with it, and I thought it was a perfect story, a perfect dark science fiction story to tell. A darker version of it, though, a much darker version. How do you do, Krista? How do you do? How do you do? Now, since we're close to nighttime, at least where I am, I decided to do the whole dream thing going on, the dream filter. In a way, this is kind of how we see this. In a way, this glossy kind of way of seeing things is kind of how we do see things in dreams. Except it doesn't even come close to how we perceive things in dream. Everything's glossy in a dream. You know what I mean? Everything's very glossy. I'm doing good. I worked today. It wasn't it wasn't a nice day at work. A lot of pain, a lot of let's just say things didn't go smoothly at work. A lot of things went wrong. Not necessarily that I was in trouble or nothing at work, but equipment broke down. I was kind of, it made my job a lot slower, stuff like that, things going wrong, haywire. When machines go haywire a little bit, pain in the ass. And then you got, it's just, so that's what happens sometimes, at work. Sometimes, it's not because of a boss, it's not because of anything that you did. I stock shelves for a living. That's what I do. There are certain pieces of equipment, when they break down, they become a hindrance, you could say, because you rely on them to get your job done. When when scanners break down, it can be a pain in the ass. Pretty much. And then you basically, then your one of your higher ups says they want you to do a certain type of job that requires a scanner, and you're flying blind, and you're telling your higher up that I don't think I can do this one, not on this day. How you doing, Brian PC? AAC all the way. I got some announcements. Well, the AAC is still going strong. It's still going strong. We still got the merchandise for the AAC. But I got some announcements to make. Pretty soon this summer, I'm going to go see Dave for a couple days. Pick up some chicks up in New York, you know. You're welcome, Brian. But, you know, a music video that I watched a long time ago and rekindled, I saw it on YouTube. I've decided, Honey Bunch, how you doing? I've decided to basically turn that into a dark science fiction story. And I'm going to call it Bio-Female. You're going to know why. Well, it's not what, it's who. How about that? A lot of hot college girls. So here's the thing. As we know, there's an epidemic of male loneliness in the West. And there's technology. Sometimes technology isn't always helpful towards us. Sometimes technology, a lot of times in our society, has become a hindrance. You know, it's made us more isolated, alienated, atomized, you could say. You know? And so so I decided to do a story about a guy, a college guy, who's a very smart guy. He's not a very smart guy, but he's not respected. He's not respected by other college students. He's very intelligent. He's not getting any dates, let's put it that way. So he feels lonely. So he decides to turn his knowledge of cloning, where he's literally cloning women. But the problem is with that, it just doesn't go well. You know, he's trying to basically clone these women, and it works for a short period of time, but it goes bad. I mean, the clones eventually degrade, you could say. Oh, I love that story. That is one of the best. That's a short story that a lot of people liked. You didn't like it, Honey Bunch? A lot of people like that story. As a matter of fact, I get so much people saying they want to see an animated version of that story. They like that story so much. Not exactly, Honey Bunch. This is a guy who's lonely, and he turns to cloning to basically clone women, pretty much. Yes, it is, and a lot of people liked it. I'm glad you did. I'm trying to get it, and that's another announcement I'm going to make. If I'm looking towards Buff Carrot to release the animated version of A Feminist Goes to Hell. You know? No. This particular science fiction story won't be a short story. I want to make this like a novel kind of story. So this is going to be a novel. This is one of those science fiction stories that has moral lessons in it. Um, how far are you willing to go to basically get what you want? Um, um, what are you willing to do? And when you employ technology, does it really help you, or does it really make your life better, or does it, make your life worse? So there's going to be a lot of moral questions here about technology, about loneliness, the epidemic of male loneliness. It's going to be how far are you willing to go to get what you want? That's and what price are you willing to pay? You know what I mean? Yep. No, no, Carl. I would say he clones women from he gets DNA from long deceased women. You know, particular DNA from women who are, you know, were hot in their time, so he clones them. You know what I mean? You can basically it's the cloning process. Now, this is going to be a movie about pretty much um, loneliness, obsession, and well, I'll put it this way. I'll have to put that in the book, but I don't think the clones that he clones will pretty much, or kind of like I don't know, he can manipulate them easier. You know what I mean? The point is that he's making clones. He's accelerated growth. The biggest problem with the clones in the story is that after 3 weeks, they turn into bloody mush. They degrade. He can't extend their life beyond that. So it makes it so the technology he's using is not making his life any better. And people are wondering why all these hotties that he's with is disappearing. You know? So it's not making his life any better. Nobody steals his idea. Yeah, exactly. So this is a story about alienation, modern day alienation. It is a story about, you know, moral questions. It's a moral question. Now I'm going to call this story Bio Female. I just think that's the most appropriate name, Bio Female. It's going to be epic. No. He used long gone DNA from hotties, dude. From very attractive women. Duh. So epic. He has some moral questions. Yeah, because there's a lot of I haven't wrote this story yet, but what I'm gonna try to put in it is basically his obsession with basically creating the perfect woman for himself, and uh, and how unhealthy that is, and how basically the technology he's using a lot of times has made his life a lot worse than it was before. So it's basically, yeah, has a lot of moral questions, moral questions, he's trying to fix the problem to keep the clones stable, but it's not working, you know. I think it could be a bestseller. Well, that's a part of the moral question, isn't it? I mean, the obsession with perfection we have in our society today. Um, my future plans is I'm building up the AAC, and we're recruiting members from all over the world. By the way, buy the merchandise. You know, I got members from the UK. I got members from all over the country. I got members from like Cyprus. You know, so I got members. You know, so buy the merchandise. So my future plans are this. I'm gonna go. Yeah, thank you, Iron Man. So this new story is not going to be a short story. It's going to be a novel, and this one is going to be a doozy. This is going to be called Bio Female. It's going to be a science fiction story. It's going to be purely science fiction, but it's going to be today. It's going to be. It's not going to be like a science fiction, like like in the future, because a lot of this technology is around today, and so it would be much more interesting to place it in our time, the time we live in right now. Um, Thank you, Iron Man. So, Bio Female is going to be an interesting novel. I'm going to work on it. This one's not going to rhyme like the other ones did. It's not going to be a short story. It's not going to be a short poetic story. This one's going to be a little bit different. This one is going to be, I think, a science fiction Oh, thank you, Bullfrog. This one's going to be a science fiction masterpiece, and my inspiration was an Aerosmith music video. Except I'm going to do it much differently. Much differently, It will. It will. This is going to be my masterpiece, though. It's going to be a masterpiece of science fiction. Now, people don't understand. I am a science fiction fan from way back. I used to read Ray Bradbury. I used to I read Heinlein. So, yeah. It's a dream filter. Since we're close to nighttime, I decided to do a little dream filter. They say this is how we see things when we're asleep and dreaming, but I've dreamt before. It comes close, but it's not even close. Yeah. I'm doing great, Angelique. So, what do you think of my new story? I want to hear from the people. What do you think of my new novel I'll be working on? Thank you, Angelique. Well, I'm going to fill you in, Angelique. Well, I want to make it, like a small novel. You know what I mean? It's going to be called Bio Female. Yes, but this one's going to be much more interesting. Thank you, Bullfrog. I'll explain. I'll fill Angelique in. Well, yeah, but it's not far from the truth. I have a friend who works in a genetics lab, and he says he clones plants that don't last too long. So it's not that far from the truth. I mean, when you're cloning a human being, Yes, most science fiction talks about social issues in a way that some of the greatest science fiction works, television shows, talked about issues of today. in a way that was basically not that in a way that you can get away with it because it's science fiction. You know, a lot of the greatest science fiction shows talked about political issues and everything like this, and talked about social issues of the day, the things that were going on, but they did it through the lens of science fiction. It's a way of how can I say getting past the censors. You could say science fiction has always been a way of getting past you know censors and actually preaching them, telling a message, but without preaching it to people, without preaching it. I don't want to preach a message to people. No, I want to actually tell a great story using the themes that we're seeing. And if things go well, maybe I might be able to make it into a film. Who knows? I love to make it into a film. That's true. That's very true. And there were other science fiction stories like Ray Bradbury, Fahrenheit 451, 1984, Brave New World. These science fiction stories have relevance today. Um, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Honey Bunch. I'm glad everyone likes it. I mean, this is just an announcement stream. But, another announcement I'm going to make. Pretty soon I'm going to get out in the woods, do some shooting again. I want to do more of that. Out in the backwoods, doing some shooting. And don't you think I won't. I'll do some slingshot, I'll do some crossbow, some air rifle. I'll do it all. Boo boost. Thank you, Brian PC. I'm still doing the AAC stuff. Okay. I'm glad people like it. I really do. All right. So we're doing something good, something great. uh, ain't this beautiful? Cha cha cha. So, that being said, let's go down and get a snack or something. I don't know. And I'm on it. Well, yeah, streams don't last too long, though. Oh, sorry. My feet hurt. Woo! And I'm all tapped out. It's raining today. It's miserable and drizzly. And I'm all tapped out. No need for that. Tell me something. So true, Michael. So true. Things. And I'm all tapped out. All right. I'm glad you like Biofemale. The newest novel I'll be making. Well, Michael, I was talking about my future plans, and what I was talking about, I'll fill you in, Michael, and I'll say it again. I'm planning on doing a novel about, a lonely guy in college, a lonely young man in college who's very intelligent and decides to use his brain, his intelligence, to basically clone women. So he doesn't have to be lonely, and it just goes wrong. Oh, I decided to come downstairs. That's all, bullfrog. But that's what I'm planning on doing. It's called Biofemale. So that's pretty good. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael. It's going to be a good one. I was inspired by an Aerosmith music video called "Hole in My Soul," and basically, my premise will be more darker than the music video that I saw. Oh, this is a much darker version of Weird Science, Brian. Much darker version. We're talking way dark. We're talking woof dark. Well, I hope it'll be just a paperback. You know what I mean? About as long as a paperback. You know? I don't want it to be too long. Just as just a novel. It's not gonna be a short story. This one cannot be a short story because it requires a story, an actual story to be written for this one. It's dark science fiction. It is dark science fiction. You have a young man playing God, cloning women, so he doesn't have to be lonely. You know? So, it's going to be a real interesting page turner. Oh, yeah. No, it's more like no, it's more like they think he is, but in reality, he's trying to fix the process, the degradation. He wants his females alive above all else. The problem is that the cloning process degrades over 3 weeks, pretty much. It degrades, and they degrade into bloody mush, pretty much. So. It just, the cells break down. It's not working. He's trying everything he can to stop the cellular decay. You know what I mean? But he's trying. He does. It will be, Michael. It will be. I think it will. But this is like I said, there was someone who works in genetics. This happens to clone plants all the time, according to him. So it's not that far. I mean, the trouble is when you clone something, it doesn't. It's not. It's it doesn't work too well. When they clone plants, it doesn't work too well because from what he told me, it only takes about 3 days for it to biodegrade. You could say. So this is not far from the truth about cloning, you know. So yeah, I do believe it could be Michael Tennant. I do believe it could be, because no one's thought of this. And well, Aerosmith thought of it in their music video, but I guess I can use it and make it darker than that. In the Aerosmith music video, it wasn't as dark. I'm gonna go way dark with this. Way dark. It's gonna be dark. Now, in the end, it is an actual woman that saves him from his madness. I shouldn't give that away. I know. Dolly died, though. That's true. That's true. Very true. Very true. Dolly didn't last long. So this guy is trying to perfect the cloning process. And basically, he starts out as just a regular college kid, want to be, looking to be a scientist, and but he's lonely. Sometimes, you can. Sometimes loneliness can make you do crazy things. You know, and we're gonna see that in this story. So we'll see how this rolls out. He's trying to perfect the cloning process. But if you want to know the inspiration for this story, and you can see it, you can go on YouTube and you can watch Aerosmith "Hole in My Smoke." You can watch the music video Aerosmith by Aerosmith called "Hole in My Soul," and you'll see where I get the inspiration for the story. You know what I mean? Well, I got a word Well, it's not gonna be on paper per se. Well, at first I'll get it printed out eventually, but the point is that it's gonna be like typed on computer. You know, this one is going to be a new one. This one is going to be interesting. You know. Yep. This one is going to be a masterpiece. Interesting, Brian. Interesting. So it's not that far stretched. I mean, it's not that far out. I'm going on information, how cloning really doesn't work. At least now. So the point is that tampering with genetics is always bad. I mean, with what God made. But Very interesting. Very interesting about cloning. It's not exactly a fun thing to talk about, but let's talk about it, shall we? Cloning is but it's also an interesting concept in science fiction. It's like, so this would be an interesting thing. I know other movies have talked about it in a different way, like Splice. But I, on the other hand, am going in a different direction. Splice was a good movie, by the way. Great movie. Adrian Brody. You know, uh, I forget the blonde in that movie. But I'm going to see. Interesting, Brian. So this is going to be interesting. This is going to be an interesting story. Cloning is going to be involved. I mean, this is like going to be the darkest science fiction story. It's going to be like a modern Frankenstein, in my opinion. Yeah. Alrighty then. It's obvious that well, I've made my announcements. I think I've done what I needed to do. That is true, Carl Weathers. That is true, Carl. Very true. Very, very true. That is very true. Yeah, Ex Machina. Yeah, these are themes that call me a Sigma. Formula flip. So I'm going to write my story. How you doing, Parasol? I was just talking about my future plans. I was talking about the things I'm going to do. I'm going to go to NYC, hang out with Dave. And I'm also going to go to go to I'm also going to write a novel about cloning and about, as it's going to called Bio Female. It's about a guy, a young college student who um is smart and intelligent. He turns to cloning to but he's very lonely. So he clones women pretty much. Yeah, he clones women and it just goes wrong from there. It just goes totally wrong. It's going to be a very dark science fiction story. You know? Very dark. Mm. As dark can get. We're talking dark science fiction. Science fiction that actually has something to say about our current society. Now, the story is going to be called Bio Female. Now, I'm continuing the AAC. Buy the merchandise, by the way, and donate to my Cash App. Please. Anyway, well, I'm glad you like it. I'm glad that you find it cool. My hand is healed. My finger that's healed. So this is going to be a very interesting story. All right. That being said, that is all I got to say for now. And with Dave's stream going on, I'm not going to get much play here. Well, God bless everybody. I'll do another stream soon.